Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, David here, and welcome back to another video. Now, obviously, as I'm sure it's the case for some of y'all watching today's video, SMT5 Vengeance is on my mind. I've been playing the game for over 2 weeks. I got the game early by ATLUS. Very lucky that I got that code early, and I did other videos as well on the channel, giving you guys my first impression of Vengeance, as well as 10 of my best tips in 8 minutes for you to succeed in Vengeance. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure you click the links that are in the video description to learn more about the game. But today, I want to talk to my fellow Persona fans out there who have yet to try out the mainline Shin Megami Tensei series. And honestly, as you've seen with my thumbnail, I think it's pretty clear, should you, a Persona fan, try out mainline Shin Megami Tensei? And my answer to that is yes. And today I'm here to tell you guys why you should give Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance a shot, or other SMT titles if you are a Persona fan. So if you like today's video, a quick thumbs up is always a big help. Otherwise, if you're into weekly RPG content, ATLUS and more, you're at the right place. Please consider subscribing. Let's get right into it. So for me, the main thing that you need to look at before trying out mainline SMT, if you like Persona, modern Persona, is the combat. So basically, if you didn't know, Persona is a spin-off, actually, of mainline Shin Megami Tensei. So Shin Megami Tensei started in the 80s. Series was like super popular. It had a lot of different branches in in terms of spin-offs, like Persona, Digital Devil Saga, Devil Survivor. There's so many spin-offs in that universe. Devil Summoner could be considered a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, right? But the combat in SMT, the press turn combat system that you can see and experience in Persona games, and that you're gonna experience in Metaphor Fantasio in October, is from mainline SMT. Press turn, where you have press turn icons in the top right corner of your screen, and if you explode an enemy weakness, you get an additional turn. If an enemy blocks, you lose 2 turns. If an enemy drains, etc. That's all press turn, and that's from Shin Megami Tensei. So yes, if you want to play Shin Megami Tensei 5, I'm just gonna say that, to me, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is the press turn combat system perfected. It is peak combat, and the combat in Persona can be very fun and very addictive, especially in games like Persona 5, where you can swap party members at any time or change personas with your MC at any time. Super dope. But in SMT, you have control over your demons. In SMT5 Vengeance, you even have control over guest characters. It is honestly a blast. You can swap your demons on field. It's really, really dope. Now, if you like to gain new personas in other Persona game, well, in SMT you get to recruit demons, which is, in my opinion, even better, because you get to have discussions with enemy demons, and believe me, some of those can be insanely entertaining. It's just very fun overall. So for demon negotiation, the fact that you can recruit any type of demon that you find on field is something that I feel Persona fans will like. With, you know, when you have a compendium that you want to complete in Persona, it's the same thing in SMT if you want to do that. They share a ton of elements between both franchises, and one of the things that they share that shouldn't be underestimated is the developers. Now, obviously, ATLUS is making Persona, but they're also making SMT. They are the developer of both of these series. But some of the devs, some of legendary developers, work on both series, right? Shoji Meguro is the first one that comes to mind. Legendary composer at ATLUS. He made tracks for some of your favorite Persona games, like a Persona 3, 4, and 5, but also classics in the SMT series like a Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne or a Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. So lots of devs are being shared between projects. So if you play Persona, well, people who are making Persona, some of them are also working on Shin Megami Tensei, and it's something that you can easily see when playing the games. Now, clearly SMT, the games are shorter, you can beat them quicker than Persona, so they're more accessible in that sense. They tend to be a little harder, on the harder side of things, versus Persona, especially modern entries. Like SMT5 Vengeance on normal is a harder experience than Persona 5 Royal on normal. It's still not hard at all. I think SMT5 Vengeance is a super good entry point in the SMT series, but yeah, clearly a little harder. Now, one thing that these two franchises definitely share in common is great music. So both of these series have peak video game music. You're not going to find better music in any other franchise, if you ask me. Like, absolutely peak soundtracks from start to finish, both for Persona and for SMT. Now, SMT, I have to say, is more focused on actual gameplay than story and character development, and that's for all the games. Now obviously there is some games that have some great character development, like a Shin Megami Tensei 4 where there's more focus on characters, but if you play a game like SMT5 or SMT3 for example, well, these games don't have as much character focus, where you don't obviously you don't have like social links, or you don't have the calendar system that you're gonna find in Persona games, but still you still have character development in SMT titles. It's just not as big of a focus as in Persona. So if you're into the dating sim side of things, if that's why you're into Persona and the day-to-day life simulator stuff, well, you're not gonna find that in SMT. But if you like the demon and mythology lore in Persona, you like the press-turn combat system in Persona, you like the aesthetic of Persona and the music being fire, well then you're probably at the right place trying Shin Megami Tensei for the first time. Now some of y'all gave me some very good reasons as to why Persona fans should or shouldn't play Shin Megami Tensei, so we're gonna look at those right away. So I have some comments from some of y'all that I want to read here on chat that I asked on my community page. Should Persona fans try out SMT? I got some answer from some of y'all saying yes, they should. Other people said no. Well, overwhelmingly positive, right? 95% of people said yes, they should try it out. Others said no, and we're gonna look at the comments here. So the first one is from Project J saying, I think every Persona fan should try SMT, but I don't think every Persona fan will necessarily like SMT. In fact, I think most Persona fans will prefer Persona, but SMT and Persona share a lot of DNA, and some people will probably really resonate with SMT style if they give it a chance. I 100% agree with this one. It's definitely not going to be for every Persona fan. As I said before, if you play Persona for the character focus, the long ass stories, and the big stories in these games, well, clearly SMT might not be the game for you, right? The next comment here from Ninja is also interesting. SMT is like a mirror universe to Persona. It's what would happen to the world if the Persona heroes failed. That is interesting, and that's also something that I have to agree with. If your main party members in Persona were to fail their goals, it would give you an SMT title, 100%. Jake here said, if you like the combat system and fusing demons in Persona, you'll probably like SMT. If you're only into Persona for the social links and romance options, SMT is not for you. So see, same thing that I used to say. T-Bone here with a Surf Digital Devil Saga profile picture, mind you, says, absolutely, especially if they like Persona 5. After P5, Digital Devil Saga got me into SMT and became my favorite Megaton game. Since then, I beat Nocturne and SMT5 too and played almost every Megaton game in English. Even if someone has never played a Persona game before, I think SMT5 Vengeance will be a great entry point into Megaton. I can't agree more with everything said here by T-Bone. Now, a ton of people definitely had to point out that, hey, they started with Persona and then they jumped into SMT and they liked it. So I think that says a lot about, you know, SMT being a great series for Persona fans. Hamed here said, if you are playing Persona as a waifu catching simulator or power of friendship simulator, SMT is not for you. But if you want exhilarating combat, monster collection and fusion, and exploring a destroyed world, then SMT is for you. Clearly. Toribori here said, I played SMT5 as my first Megaton game at all and I liked it. Tried also P5R, but it wasn't for me. I prefer free open space to move around and to have the possibility to save at any time. With Persona, I kind of feel more imprisoned and limited. You see, so if that's what you feel like when playing Persona, like you wish you could explore more, you wish you could do whatever you wanted at every time without being locked to a calendar system that affects the pacing of the game, well, that's not an issue in SMT, so yeah, I agree with this one. Then we're gonna end on this one with RNG creator said, all I'm gonna say is that if it wasn't for Persona, then I wouldn't be into SMT in the first place. And this is how I wanna conclude today's video, because you guys, so many people said that to me. They tried Persona, they fell in love with the series, and then they played mainline SMT. And that's what I did. So if you guys want my opinion on things, I started with Persona 3 back in the day, and then I was lucky enough to stumble upon a copy of SMT4 at a random time. I recognized the ATLUS logo, and I fell in love at that point. So clearly I want to encourage y'all to at least give these games a chance. Some of these games are super cheap. Like if you want to try out, you have a modern system, you want to play Nocturne HD, for example. Nocturne HD is a game that aged pretty well. It has issues here and there, but it's still a very solid experience, and most importantly, it's super cheap. SMT5, the original game, if you have a Switch, super cheap as well. And now obviously, if you can spend the money, SMT5 Vengeance I think is the perfect entry point in the SMT series. I might make a video about that if you guys want to, but clearly a great place to start as well if you want to check out Shin Megami Tensei. So I hope I convinced some of y'all Persona fans to check out that series. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great week, y'all. Bye. Enjoy your gaming.